Good morning. It's time for lesson 57, but I'm going to go ahead and read the review instructions again, just for my reference, your reference. They do a review every 50 lessons, and so it has sort of instructions about it. It says each of them will cover each review will cover 5 of the ideas already presented, starting with the first and ending with the 50th. There will be a few short comments after each of the ideas, which you should consider in your review. In the practice periods, the exercises should be done as follows. Make sure we're doing our exercise periods. Begin the day by reading the 5 ideas with the comments included. Thereafter, it's not necessary to follow any particular order in considering them, though each one should be practiced at least once. Devote 2 minutes or more to each practice period, thinking about the idea and the related comments after reading them over. Do this as often as possible during the day. If any one of the 5 ideas appeals to you more than the others, concentrate on that one. At the end of the day, however, be sure to review all of them once more. So watch the review in the morning and then watch it at night. It is not necessary to cover the comments that follow each idea either literally or thoroughly in the practice periods. Try rather to emphasize the central point and think about it as part of your review of the idea to which it relates. After you've read the idea and the related comments, the exercises should be done with your eyes closed and when you are alone in a quiet place if possible. This is emphasized for the practice periods at your stage of learning. So the exercises should be done with your eyes closed and when you're alone in a quiet place if possible. And you're just talking 2 to 5 minutes. It could be on your bathroom breaks, really. At work, I'm saying. This is emphasized for practice periods at your stage of learning. It will be necessary, however, that you learn to require no special settings in which to apply what you have learned. You will need your learning most in situations that appear to be upsetting rather than those that already seem to be calm and quiet. But we're starting with calm and quiet to sort of get our footing. Makes sense. The purpose of your learning is to enable you to bring the quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done by avoiding them and seeking a haven of isolation of yourself. And we run into this a lot in spirituality, right? Where it's like, I guess I just need to go live on a mountaintop and not deal with humanity. And this is saying, no, you've got to train yourself, just like Abraham would say, to be unconditional in your mood, even when life conditions show up. That's what it's talking about. And so it's using this tool and meditation, but shorter amounts of meditation. Most of these meditations are like 5 to 10 minutes. Right now it's saying 2 minutes for this review. So that should be achievable. With Abraham, I'm doing 15 to 20 minutes a day, which is still very achievable when you're talking about changing your life. 15 to 20 minutes. It's amazing to me that we think we don't have time to do this work. And one of the Course in Miracles main the things people will say they don't have time for. It takes a lot of time. It's like it takes like 10 minutes to read and 5 minutes to do meditation. If you don't have 15 minutes in your day, how are you spending so much time online, on social media, or watching TV for several hours a day? I gotta do my shows. Maybe you should change your life so you don't need to watch a show to feel happy. But I put my money where my mouth is. You will yet learn that peace is part of you and require that you be there. You will yet learn that peace is a part of you and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. We were reading about limitlessness yesterday and how our minds can't conceive it. So this is saying, and you will finally learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. So this is about building enough power to where our vibration becomes dominant wherever we are. And it's a vibration of peace and calm no matter what's happening around us, because we know that everything's okay and that we are safe wherever we are. You will note that for review purposes, some of the ideas are not given in quite the original form. Use them as they are given here. It is not necessary to return to the original statements, nor to apply the ideas as was suggested then. We are now emphasizing the relationships among the first 50 of the ideas we have covered and the cohesiveness of the thought system to which they are leading you. I've noticed that. I feel like when you go over the review, you realize that the ideas are more cohesive than when we're studying them individually. So, lesson 57 for the day. It's just a reminder on how to process the reviews. So we're going to go over them, spend a few minutes with them, and then throughout the day, review them as much as possible. I have an app on my phone. I think I just paid a couple bucks for it, but it pops up reminders. So that's always nice, because if I get caught up in my day and my phone's like, beep, remember me, and that's kind of an easy way to do it. I don't think they had phones when this was written. Perhaps not quite as technologically oppressive or, intense of a time. We're so busy right now. We're so busy. We're going, we're listening to music, got our kids, got our jobs, got everything happening. And it's just, this is about creating space. Be still and know. Okay. Enough out of me. Lesson 57. Today, let us review these ideas. We're reviewing lessons 31 through 35. The world's just waking up. It's still dark out. Lesson 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. How can I be the victim of a world that can be completely undone if I so choose? My chains are loosened. I can drop them off merely by desiring to do so. Interesting, it's getting into desire, and that it's all about just asking it is given. The prison door is open. I can leave simply by walking out. Nothing holds me in this world. Only my wish to stay keeps me a prisoner. I would give up my insane wishes and walk into the sunlight at last. Number 32, I've invented the world I see. I made up the prison in which I see myself. All I need do is recognize this, and I am free. I have invented the world I see. I have deluded myself into believing it is possible to imprison the Son of God. I was bitterly mistaken in this belief, which I no longer want. The Son of God must be forever free. He is as God created him, and not what I would make of him. He is where God would have him be, and not where I thought to hold him prisoner. I have invented the world I see. I made up the prison in which I see myself. Okay, and that's obviously I'm imprisoning everyone around me if I'm imprisoning myself, and we're all connected as one. Number 33, there is another way of looking at the world. Since the purpose of the world is not the one I ascribe to it, there must be another way of looking at it. I see everything upside down, and my thoughts are the opposite of truth. I see the world as a prison for God's Son. It must be then that the world is really a place where he can be set free. I would look upon the world as it is and see it as a place where the Son of God finds his freedom. So maybe rather than saying the world's going to hell in a handbasket, like so many are saying today, saying, this world is always getting better and we're being set free and things are always more beautiful every day. Number 34, I could see peace instead of this. When I see the world as a place of freedom, I realize that it reflects the laws of God instead of the rules I made up for it to obey. I will understand that peace, not war, abides in it, and I will perceive that peace also abides in the hearts of all who share this place with me. I'm remembering something I was listening to about this world being a playground, a world of imagination, and that's why it can be either. But if we remember that it's just playful, it's not that serious, it's just a playground for a creator who has an imagination that can create anything, it takes a lot of the weight off to say nothing too serious is happening here. And it's just a playground. We're just learning, and it's fun, and it's free. Number 35, my mind is part of God's. I am very holy. I want to point out holy also comes from whole. My dog. Einstein, what's with the breathing? Einie? He's breathing so loud. I think because his walk time is coming up. Remember me, he says. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. As I share the peace of the world with my brothers, I begin to understand that this peace comes from deep within myself. The world I look upon has taken on the light of my forgiveness and shines forgiveness back at me. In this light, I begin to see what my illusions about myself kept hidden. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness with me. Okay, so just going over the ideas again. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I've invented the world I see. There we see ourselves going from powerless victim to taking accountability. I've invented it. There is another way of looking at the world, so now that I have my power back, I can use it in a new way. I could see peace instead of this. And my mind is part of God's I am very holy. So we're really getting into a new decision, like a possibility. So I'm not a victim of the world I see, so I'm not powerless. This isn't just happening to me. I've invented the world I see. I'm taking accountability. I'm doing this. I've got my power. There's another way of looking at this world. It's creating a new kind of possibility. Like, oh, there's a new option. Now that I have my power back, I could do something else. I could see peace instead of this. And now it's pointing at the possibility as peace, which is quite motivating. All of us long for peace. And then my mind is part of God's. I am very holy. That's talking about empowerment. It's expanding the power is what I'm seeing there. Like it's saying, okay, not only could I see peace in this, but my mind is part of God's. Like God is in my mind and I'm very holy. So we're talking a whole different level of power, taking that accountability up a notch. So I'm going to set up my reminders for the day. I'm going to go out into the day and I'm going to be reminded that anything that happens, I'm not a victim. I've invented this. This isn't really, I've invented it. There's another way of seeing it. I want to see peace instead of this. In my mind, God is in my mind. I'm very holy. And that's where the power comes from to generate peace. It's in all of us. All of us want it. It's everywhere. And I want to see it. I want to create that asking so that it can be given to me.